promise of 400 and 800 gigabit data rates to enable 5G and other new technologies cannot be realized without an industry standard for high bandwidth onboard optics. The Consortium for Onboard Optics, or COBO for short, has been addressing this urgent need, and its president, Brad Booth, joins me now after addressing the ECOC market focus here in Rome. Brad, just take us through why this is so important.
I think one of the reasons why it's important is as we move forward with speeds, we're starting to run into certain barriers. We've begun to realize, and people have begun to realize even years ago, that sometimes with faceplate optics, we're dealing with signal integrity issues, we're dealing with thermal issues. Those are only going to get worse as we continue to go faster and faster, especially to support the next generation of technologies, things like 5G and AI and stuff like that. So one of the things that you need to have in the toolkit is another way out. And COBO gives you that other item in the toolkit. It gives you the ability to say, hey, I'm going to solve this in a different manner. I'm going to move the optics inside. I'm going to move them closer to the switch silicon. That's going to help with my thermal environment. It may help with my faceplate density environment. It's going to help with my SI environment, my signal integrity. And all of this contributes to what you can do with your switches. If you did not have that, you would do proprietary solutions, which the industry has done before. But the problem is that, as a company of our size, I don't want to have 18 different proprietary solutions. I want to be able to have one solution, and that's what COBO gives us. It gives us an ability to have a single solution that works from multi-mode fiber all the way up through long-haul coherent type systems. Nothing in our industry does that today, and that to me is an incredibly powerful tool for us to be able to offer to the industry.
And you've made quite a breakthrough. I mean, here in Rome there are several booths with COBO compliant devices. It must quite a moment for you.
It is. It's been a lot of work. I got to commend our members. They have done an amazing job. When you bring this many companies into the industry together, a lot of times these type of efforts will stagnate. They will stall because you've got so many different opinions. It was good to see that we could get to a commonality. Everyone realized that there had to be something that had to be done here, that we needed to add this to our industry, to our toolkit. And they came together, and it was a tough decision. Two companies had very strong proposals. There was many other companies that had proposals, but two came out the strongest, and we basically took a merge of them and made the best of both worlds. And actually, both companies came back and agreed, like, hey, this is probably better than my solution was alone. And I think that was one of the best compromises I've actually seen come out of a standards. Usually with a standards compromise, you go down. This was actually a standard compromise that brought things up to a higher level. And it's nice to see that our members are getting on board. They're producing modules. AOI is showing the first module. We've got people showing the connectivity, how we can get up to even higher bandwidth with that same electrical connector that we selected. So, we're making progress. We've got people developing compliance boards to do interoperability testing, to make sure our modules and our switches that get built, you can test them without having to put an actual module in there. You have a way to test that electrical interface and the power and control and all that in advance of actually plugging a module in. So we're building the industry, and that just takes time. We're changing the world in a sense, right? We're adding something that no one's done before, and to do that, it takes time and it takes the willingness of our members, and they've done an amazing job.
Absolutely. And what's sort of next, do you think?
I think next for us is to continue to build on that momentum. We want to work to see if we can actually show a true demonstration at OFC with an actual switch with modules populated on it. We want to see our members be able to progress their module development, be able to show up with demonstrating host compliance boards, module compliance boards, and progress on what comes next. Because a lot of people now are saying that we knew when we did the spec that 100 gig electrical interfaces were going to show up. We didn't know when. They're starting to show up now. The standards bodies are working on them, and so we're ready to intercept that. So our organization, will take on that work to be able to intercept that and make that part of our standard, which will enable us to actually have modules that can support up to 1.6 terabits.
Fantastic. Well, we'll look forward to OFC. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So COBO making a real difference to the world as we move forward.